Welcome back to the community map. So I'm probably at this point that's going to show the major developments as I expand the base. I'll be expanding power, I'll be expanding circuits even more, try and get ready for making lots of rockets. So the first development here is going to be, I've already moved the red and the iron belts, and the intention here is so I can make more blue circuits so I can keep tiling this along here. And this will be just keeping it close to the green circuits because you need a lot of green circuits to make the blue ones. And again, this may or may not move at some point in the future. So I've tiled it twice. I'm not sure I'm going to use both of them right away. But I'm definitely going to immediately go and expand this as well and then have two of these running. So correcting a mistake I made earlier that this belt Haven as an express belt is not enough to supply all of these because all those gears will be used up by just these. So what I've done, I've put in a second belt here to merge here just after the belts. Now I've got two separate belts to the east and then some kind of like splitter set up to try and get them onto one side of the belt. And this should help me get enough resources down to the left here, because what happened was while it was trying to build up the stock of these, I've actually run out of underground belts, which was very inconvenient. So sometime later when circuits are complete. So I have got all three of these built now and they have got inputs, but as you see they're not quite getting a full belt, and actually making this many green circuits also draining the red circuits. So the point of that right now is there's not enough iron. I did expand the iron, but not enough clearly. As you can see, once the green circuits didn't all fit, I ran out of space. I kind of ran into the oil stuff there. So I've ended up putting two there. For the copper, I built this mine here, which feeds into a couple of these. And I think this is not quite enough ore right now. I kind of did a fantasy type-ish thing, but I don't think it is enough ore. All the miners seem to be running. Once I get mine productivity or something, that should help, or I could put modules in the miners. And then for iron, I already had most of these built, so what I've done is I built two additional ones here. These are also not quite getting enough ore right now. This just needs some rearranging, I think, and I mentioned before I ran out of underground belts when I was doing this. But other than that, this should be a big enough setup. Oh, and also apparently forgot to put sulfuric acid over there. Other than all those issues, this should be a big enough setup to get to 2,000 per minute. 1,000 per minute, I mean. And then to get to 2,000, I'll have to build this same thing again if I did the back of the envelope maths correctly. Next big step is going to be upgrading the oil production. So the lubricant is the easiest one, just to have a chemical plant surrounded by beacons with productivity, and that should make more than enough lubricant for the time being. The next one I'm going to do quickly is going to be this and then this. What I'm going to use for these is two rows of beacons like I have with other stuff there. So assume this will be enough space. This might need to move it eventually in. There will be two rows of beacons with some stuff in between. But what you'll notice is because I need the two different inputs, that's not enough space. So what's going to happen instead is I'm going to have to take the pipes over to the other side of the beacon. And that just means it won't tile quite as well. So this will end up here. So I say it's just going to be chemical plants for beacon to the side. By doing essentially the mirror image between the light and the heavy, I can reuse the beacons in the center here. But then if I wanted to put another row here, I couldn't reuse these beacons because I need somewhere to put this water pipe. And that should give me a nice increase in gas production. So this was where I was running it before, at 31, it was quite stable. And I started messing with the beacons, you can see as you can see, this has brought to a nice boost. This is kind of where I was running before, and as I started to delete the original ones, you can see it dropped down to here. But now it seems to be running up pretty much from 31 to 59,000, and that's just from upgrading capacity on these. Because this is that's three of them, so that's 30%. Yeah, it's an extra 30% gas there, an extra 30% that a light oil there. If you go from heavy oil to gas, then it's going to compound. On to the more difficult ones. So I can put the wire beacons here, and I can put the productivity in these. But the issue there is again dealing with the output side of things. I'll just fix the power on that in a minute. So basically again, the only way to do this is going to be to have at least 2 of the pipes go underground. So 2 of these move over, and then the beacon can go here. So I think I'm already nearly in a position to actually do that. But I'm just going to have a quick look at whether I can redo the plumbing entirely. So it's going to essentially take away this. Actually, I'm going to have far less of these because once I've got the beacons and the productivity modules, I do need a lot less. Like the amount of output per assembly machine or per refinery is much greater. So I know this is going to have to go here. So the easiest one is the light oil, can go like this. Then the next one, let's say the gas, could go. That happens to line up. I don't want to accidentally connect the wrong pipes. Then like I said, the heavy oil, at least one of them has to go somewhere else. So I can get 2 of them in there. But the third one I have to do this. So again, the tiling will be somewhat more limited. So once that's finished I end up with this. So that's a nice way. I notice that some of them keep stopping. The reason why they're stopping I believe is because there's not enough oil. But there is plenty of oil, like 15,000 there. And I think if I looked at these, you see some of these pumps aren't actually running because the oil pipes, although connected, are full. So this is a limitation on the pipes in the game. They have a throughput limit and the throughput is lower the longer the distance. So my options is basically to add extra pipes or to start putting pumps in to make the distances shorter, and the shorter distances will have more capacity. But for the time being, this is nicely filled up that tank quite quickly. So I'm not too worried. That'll be a thing to do next time, I think, or at some point in the future. I've not actually calculated how much oil I need, it's just an amount of oil. So for stone bricks, there's a different ratio to. You have one small side that needs many stone bricks because you need 2 stone to make 1 brick. So I'm going to do for now is just a simple 2 strips. So that's the last of the types of furnaces I've not upgraded. I have still got obviously to upgrade the actual furnaces themselves in some places, but I do now have designs for all of them. So that'll be simple to do at some point in the future. And then the last 2 things I've not upgraded yet I'm going to do now is the batteries and the acid. For the acid, I think with productivity it's an exact 2-to-1 ratio rather, so like this. Now the problem is if I'm directing certain hairs of hair, this spacing, this one here ends up being perfectly aligned with the beacons. Now if I try and change this, say to hair, now the one on the right is perfectly aligned. If I change to hair, now the acid itself is perfectly aligned. So the big question of this is that this one here is affected by less beacons. See there, it's got 9 effect sources rather than 11. I can't really think of a good way of solving that right now, so I'm just going to work around upon by putting 2 extra beacons on the end here to make up for these 2 not being able to reach this one. Then the plumbing will be fairly straightforward. The gas can just come in here, which makes a nice clean space for water to come here, like that. That will link like that. And I'll plumb those in somewhere over there. I think, yeah, the water I can get from there, the gases I've already got. Where is the gas coming from? I can't remember where I put it now. Oh, the gas is up here. Yeah, so that would be nice and straightforward to plumb in, and that replaces this. Oh yeah, and it needs the iron, doesn't it? So the iron will come in along here. Put another belt in there. It can just be inserted into that. And then that leaves a space for the acid to come out. I don't even know how much iron I actually need. Maybe 1 insert is enough. Let's see, and then the acid can come out that way, which could be convenient. Except that I can't. As I could tie it then, because then, yeah, essentially it comes in there, goes out there, makes it tileable. So that's one thing I'm going to go with, just a little bit of tweaking to put the power in, and then I'll see how it goes. Last up then, as far as intermediate products goes, I think I can beacon batteries. This is just 2 strips again. I can fit a pipe in here between inserters using undergrounds. And then, although that doesn't leave space for power poles, using a substation, I have enough reach to get across to the other side of the chemical plant. So that gives me those. So most of this here can't use beacons, I think. Maybe like the, what are those, metal sticks, metal poles, whatever they are for the power poles. Maybe they can use productivity, but they're probably not worth it. Most of this stuff can't, those can't, and so forth. I'm just going to leave this pretty much as it is. Okay, that could, but it's not really worth it just for beacons. Next big thing to do in the future will be to replace the entire science block with a beacon setup, along with all the parts to make rockets. And once I've done that, I can start making more rockets and more satellites, and I'll start working on space science projects. Okay, so a bit more expansion to finish off the day with. So I placed all the copper melting here. This was to get the extra 40% so that I could get more copper plates from the same number of mines. I didn't really want to expand all that. This allowed me to have an extra set of red circuits. And it looks like the 3 sets of these gives just about 2 pressed blue belts. That's a little merger there. I think these are backed up. I think that top one, see, they're not quite stepping at speed. Right, at full speed, I think that's right. And then had to expand green circuits also by making this more compact. Beacon setup is actually more compact. Steel furnace gave me space for the extra green circuits here. Extra green, actually, no, the extra green circuits are this one. Yeah, this didn't quite fit all the same. I did work on a more compact version of this, but the beacon spacing is different. So it can't use these beacons, but I might use that more compact version and show it off. So the extra one is actually up here. And then basically I changed this, so instead of going up here and along there, it goes down. So these all feed into the blue circuits, which have backed up, I think is the correct number. Yeah, that. As I said, the red ones have backed up. So I now have more circuits than I need for doing all of this, which is a great position to be in. And while I was working out, small, not very many PB modules, but quite a few productivity modules. And I have got a few stored in my inventory. But yeah, I'm definitely using up a lot of these. In terms of power, I'm now up to well over 1 gigawatt. So if we compare this to, should like a 3-hour mark. If we compare the conduct to before, then there you go. You see, so when nuclear came online, I was using about 300 megawatts at the start. So, and then coming up here, I'm now peaking at a gigawatt. So probably expanding. This will be an order next time. Definitely 2, maybe 3, and then I can cut over or something. And it looks like I've got plenty of stock of uranium here for that. So next I'm going to be working on expanding the science to get the science running again. It'll be good to get the extra worker robot speed and faster robots. That's 65% extra if I just do this once, only 1 rocket. Get on with that. And then mining productivity is really good, 10% productivity. Now it's not so much that it makes the mine last longer, because I do have like loads of ore here. I'm never going to use that all up in this month. But it means that I get more output from the same miners without having to mess about with beacons or something. So then like these fast belts here. So here, then maybe I can get express belts fully packed from just 1 way. But all stuff for next time, so be sure to keep a lookout for that.